What's good? What I do, baby? Welcome back to another video of Minutes with T, and I'm back. But I'm back. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome to the T fam. And enjoy grower. We are just living our lives and navigating life the most realistic way possible, healing, growing, and learning a lot in life. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, babes. I see you, I love you, and I appreciate you so much. And let us give a round of applause for 402 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. It shows that my content is relatable, is organic, so yeah. And before anything, do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You're gonna miss out on some fun and tapping into real life situations. So guys, who subscribe is for free and you won't lose anything if you don't do that. If you do it. Today I'm going to be tapping into a very deep topic, and this topic is very close to my heart because this is also something I am unlearning. What's about when you have to unlearn certain things about yourself, uncovering the ugly truths about yourself, kunzima, and you realize that I think my identity may be damaged somewhere, somehow, because of my, life cycles and what I've been through, But without wasting any time, let's sit down, chat, and don't go anywhere. Let's get to the video. Guys, today's topic is about trauma, but now it's about realizing signs that trauma is a part of you. Realizing that trauma has formed as like part of your identity. So there are 4 signs that maybe trauma may be a part of you, and it's okay if you haven't realized, because like Lina, I'm still trying to unlearn certain things about myself, uncover the ugly truths about myself, my identity. Who am I outside of this pain, outside of what I've been through, outside of my upbringing, So I'd like to really share this with you guys. And also I wrote some notes because I'm a bit nervous. This is a hard topic. Because I'm sharing this with you guys because this channel is about learning, obviously, and healing, and just giving yourself grace and knowing that, I'm allowing this trauma to overtake and dominate my whole character, identity, and who you are. So this is what you have to realize about trauma being a part of you and a part of your identity, right? So trauma has a way of changing your identity. You are now conditioned to believe that the broken parts of you are exactly who you are. You have never imagined life like before that. What was life like before that? Because that was a different tattoo. Naso robehe pelo, naso be betrayed, naso really emotional scars, naso really confusion of what type of pain is this, So trauma has a way of it's still a joy how, but the way you're so conditioned to a certain type of trauma, you actually allow it to grow within you and become part of your identity. Yes, it's a situation that happened, but it's not something that forms who you are entirely, right? I get to be flanked almost. And you need to also understand that trauma does not only change how you see the world, but it also changes how you see yourself, right? Trauma can make you actually lose your spark in certain things, because now you always questioning yourself, am I doing this right? What will people say? You feel ashamed of going through the emotions. You lose your spark. Things that used to interest you before the trauma don't anymore, because this trauma has triggered and has sort of like opened something that you've never seen before, which is like emotional scars. And you go through certain phases in your life where, you know, opening old wounds, you know, that saying was. So somewhere along the line, trauma makes you lose your spark. And once you've lost your spark, you believe that, okay, this is who I am now because I've been through that. That's how it is. This is my true identity because of the trauma. You also begin to use the pain to describe yourself. And usually in conversations, maybe if a person would be like, okay, who is Tato, what are your interests and all that, and then if maybe a topic would arise and maybe about having like siblings or what, you know, obviously like I lost my sister, and then like, you know, it changes you in a way of like, what happened, you make it your new reality, you make it your identity, or like, oh yeah, and now I'm like this, and who were you before that, you know? So you use pain to describe yourself in many situations without realizing the impact, because that's not entirely you. This situation you could change, but it's not your identity. Umang wena outside of your pain. Like, ask yourself that. Like when I was writing these notes, I was like, who am I outside of this trauma, outside of this hurt and confusion, you know? Because I've made it my reality. It's a part of me now, and sometimes I act out of character because I'm used to this pain, you know? You often judge yourself a lot, like, am I doing this right? No, what if I'm going to be a disappointment and all of that? So those are things that you have to check in on yourself there and there, you know? And you also tend to live based on your trauma without realizing. You know, you would always create a scenario. If you are triggered, like, it's a cycle. It's a situation, you analyze it, you get triggered, and then based on your past pain, which is trauma, you act according to what you felt before, not right now. Because as Baturahula, yes, it's okay to be hurt. You are human, but what I'm trying to say is that you allowing the trauma to take charge of who you are, of what you stand for, your values, of your emotions, of your character, you know, and you make it part of your life without even realizing, because one situation, one little small piece nyana ekhathehileng, one wound nyana waibula, forget. You react the way you used to, because that trauma, it's a thief of who you used to be. It steals who you used to be, you know. You often find yourself saying umponenna, give it that kind to people, you know. Those kind of phrases, it's trauma built up, and you're allowing it to be a part of your identity, which is changing your heart, guys. Our hearts are not the same, but make sure that you look after your heart at all times, you know. But yeah, this topic is actually so deep, because if you have a big heart, you're always forgiving, that's when you also ask yourself, because there's an inside voice, subconscious, man, you are forgiving this person again, you're getting used again, you're doing this again, you know. But sometimes you act that way because it's the trauma that is living inside of you. It has like stems at things, so and then you are making it a part of your identity without even realizing. Before I ramble too much, these are the 4 signs that you will never know that maybe trauma could be part of your identity. Number 1, the phrase of saying, that's just who I am. Every time you always planting that's just who I am. Because of what I've been through, that's just who I am. I don't trust people. That's just who I am. Trauma will change you it will change you because you feel played, you feel used, and the type of trauma that you've been through. I can't delve into like detailed types of traumas because obviously I'm not an expert, but I'm just sharing this with you guys to realize that sometimes you keep on saying that phrase, it becomes a norm, like that's just who I am, because in the past saw and all of that, you are allowing the trauma to take over who you are, bruh. Have you thought of how you were or how you would tackle the situation without the pain you have felt? Don't get me wrong, we're human, you can be hurt, but these are just things that we fail to see. You create an identity based on trauma and pain. Yeah, I already touched on that, And secondly, the second sign, pain is what you are familiar with. It's just in human nature, guys. We are drawn to familiarity. It's like when something good for you is going on, you have a good job, good family structure, things are opening up, relationship they're there. But you feel like if you add peace too much, if you calm too much, you feel like there's something wrong because you've lived with this trauma for so long. You have made it a way of life. It's a reality. When you deserve to get hurt, when you deserve all pain, you deserve things falling apart. I feel like we don't appreciate what we have now. Like, I'm trying to learn that it's okay to be genuinely happy and free and alive, young and in your element, in your era, and living your life genuinely being happy, because the way trauma has also taken over with my emotions and how I go about life and situations is that I always feel like when things are just so perfect, like I'm genuinely happy, akuna stress, that's where I feel like happiness is short-lived. So trauma has a way of conditioning your mind that happiness is short-lived. Things are gonna fall apart. So that's actually how trauma can be a part of your identity. You are used to pain, and when great things happen, you don't know how to maintain that happiness, it's dangerous actually. And sign number 3, you blame the trauma for how you deal with difficulties. This is obviously me trying to also repeat what I've already mentioned, that you find yourself in a situation and you act the same way that you acted like the trauma was starting to build up. You remember how it started, how you got played, how you got emotionally abused, and all of that. Trauma makes you feel small, guys. You feel small to the point where in certain spaces where you have to be bold, where you have to be confident, where you have to show yourself that, you're powerful, you're made for this. Trauma like so small. So you blame the previous trauma for how you're reacting now, the current difficulties. And we go through challenges, but the challenge are this one, guys. But maybe challenges can be the same, but they come at a different approach from a different person, a different snake, a different trait, a different ex-friend, a different ex or whatever. It comes in a way where, like, you'll be triggered, and once you're triggered, you will remember how you acted. Number 2. Number 3, you blame the way you're acting now because of your past trauma, because that trauma is living with you, it's growing with you. Trauma away, guys, it's part of life, but do not make it something that, like, I've been through so much, and then you expect people to always feel sorry, or like to always understand, I understand that last day you went through this, So don't allow trauma to do that. Be your true self, and if you're angry, be angry. If you wanna cry, do anything, but I don't know how it works, but I'm still learning how to manage my emotions, to not compare traumas or situations. When you find yourself in a difficult situation, you go back to the way you reacted the first time a traumatic experience occurred in your life. And last but not least, guys, this is also one thing I'm failing to I'm trying to unlearn this, but it's very hard to ignore. You fail to see beyond what others see. What I mean by this, a person will come to you, or you actually have a good heart, you have a great personality, and all of that. But meanwhile, when you fighting those demons from the past build up traumas, sometimes you see yourself as, like, when you face your demons, that's the version that you believe. You don't believe the good that you see, because the trauma has taken so much territory in your life. You cannot even see beyond what others see. You always just looking at the negative side, looking at, acting out of character and all that. And sometimes you have to that there is actually a good side about you. You have good skills. You only showing up for people. Embrace that. That's what I'm also trying to. I find it hard, guys, to get complimented in that way, because the pain has overshadowed majority of my happiness. More life in yak. I've just realized that. And those are the 4 signs, actually, guys, that we are not aware of. We did not know. The phrases that we say, how we talk gentle, kind words, speak gentle, kind words to yourself, nurture your heart, be patient with becoming a person that you've never been before. Remember, if you change and you are not, change is something that occurs that you are not familiar with. You're not familiar with the surroundings. You've never been this person before, but it takes time. Be patient with the person you are trying to become, because you've never seen this version of yourself. And that is when you allow healing to take its course. Be angry, cry, do all that, so that the trauma does not eventually describe who you are in future, or even now, guys. And the last point is that, guys, remember, trauma is an experience, and it does not define your identity. It does not define where you come from. It does not define your character. It does not define the mom you're going to be. It does not define the wife or husband you're going to be. It does not define the business owner that you're going to be. So take charge. Let healing take its course. Do not rush, because you will then become the true reflection of your trauma to society without even realizing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Minutes of Tea, and happy Sunday, and wishing you a lovely, lovely week, and I'll see you on the next one.